I paid my insurance. That's good. More stationery.
How much stationery?
I don't know what's going on, but you see how I have it here, and I could think about this next month, like. Hello fam, and welcome back. On this channel we talk all things money, marriage, and lifestyle. So if one or all three of those interest you, please be sure to subscribe, and while you're down there, go ahead and like this video. It really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. And without further delay, we wanted to get into this week's topic. We kind of wanted to provide a finance update to 2020 and then discuss some of our goals we have for the new year.
Sounds good.
Okay. So to kind of bring you up to speed, last year was a really big year for us. If you follow me on Instagram, which you should, you would know that in January 2020, we paid off my student loans, which was huge because I did go to law school, as many of you know. So that was 6 figures in student loan debt alone. So that was a major accomplishment.
Definitely. We paid that off in 4 years. So we were very aggressive about that. That was probably our number one priority for last year. So also in doing that, I also graduated from my MBA program in May of last year. We were able to make that final payment and pay that along the way. So completely student loan debt free, which was a big one for us.
Yeah.
Also in 2020 was probably one of my biggest or one of our best years in terms of the stock market. We were very aggressive and adamant about putting all of our extra income into the stock market, and it paid out pretty nicely. Of course, there was a lot of volatility given all the turmoil that was going on in the world, but thankfully we were able to kind of celebrate that as well.
Yeah, so that was one way we were able to pivot the student loan payments we were previously making. We were able to roll a lot of that over into our investment account. So that was, really great because it didn't cost us to do really anything differently. We just decided to not up our lifestyle by using the additional savings from my student loan payments. Along those same lines, we just continued to pad our emergency reserve to make sure we had, 6 months of, income, basically. God forbid anything happen. I think that was kind of a reality check for us all. We were fortunate enough to keep our jobs, but, many times it crossed our minds. So yeah, we were very cognizant about that, making sure we were good to go for at least half a year.
Definitely. Another account we were pretty focused on last year was building up our investment savings account. That was an account focused primarily on if there's any kind of business opportunity or investment endeavor that we wanted to jump on, we would have cash ready as opposed to having to liquidate like our stocks or of course selling any property, anything of that realm.
Yes, but speaking of selling property, we did sell our primary residence in Oakland. That was a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was an interesting time to sell, I'll be honest, just because, again, it was the height of the pandemic. It was right before the election, so there was a lot of uncertainty with the market.
Yeah.
I think we got really fortunate that we were, even able to sell within, I think, like $10,000 of our goal, So yeah, that was a risk we took, but we wanted to come back to SoCal. We wanted to be closer to family. Many of you know that we're living in the Bay for about 5 years, and we were so used to just hopping on a flight once a month to see our family. And when we couldn't do that because it just wasn't safe, we just kind of felt like, wow, we're in the Bay by ourselves, very lonely. Yeah. So yeah, we are staying with my mom now, which brings us to our number one goal for 2021.
is buying another house in Southern California.
Yes.
Which has been a task in itself. It's still an interesting time to buy, but thankfully we're in no rush. I mean, thankfully her mom is happy with us here, so we can be pretty selective and strategic about what we want to buy.
Yes, that is definitely fortunate, but still our number one priority.
So after solidifying our primary residence, once we buy that, another big one for us is going to be to upgrade our current rental property into a multi-unit, whether it be here in Southern California or actually outside of California, we're open to as well. That's going to be something that we're really focused on. Yeah,
whether it's sourcing or being able to buy this year, we're not sure, but we just want to take a more focused approach and start looking at our options for that. Likewise, looking at options, this is kind of like a personal one for me. I want to purchase an SUV this year. Tell me, this is not new information. I have always, had really small, inexpensive cars, and I just want to treat myself this year. Again, being that I paid off my student loans, once we secure a home and we get comfortable with our new mortgage payments and whatnot, I think, I want to have a nice car. And so one approach that we're taking to doing this is I have been investing into the stock market, which is new for me because generally I just like take a back seat and let LeVar do those things. But he wanted me to, have an interest in where my money was going. And so, yeah, we sat down. He kind of like laid out a couple stocks that I would be interested in, and I chose a couple. And so each month I am, kind of like depositing into, what is the account called?
Robinhood.
Yeah, Robinhood. And so the plan is, whether it's later in the summer or maybe in like the December to remember events, I will look at that account, see how much profit I've made, and then use that to purchase the vehicle. And I think in addition to that, I will keep money in the stock market because I imagine with like a nicer car in my life, I can't just go to Jiffy Lube, right? So this will help offset some of the maintenance costs. And yeah, just one of our bigger things is making sure we always pay cash for cars. We don't want to have payments. We don't want to be stuck with like these interest rates. So yeah, that's why we're doing it this way. Very strategic approach.
A rule of thumb, my dad always taught me, any car that I drive, I should be able to buy 3 of them. And I'm going to hold that. So we'll see what we can afford for the SUV.
Yeah. Anyway, I just want to make sure I can afford one and to make sure I don't have car payments because we haven't for so long. So yeah, that'll be nice.
One personal goal for myself is to read or listen to one audiobook or book a month. That has been something that I've been avoiding for quite some time. I'm big on music, so I always have my headphones on, and it's very easy, I've realized, to just slip in an audiobook as opposed to some rap music here and there. So that's actually a big goal for me, and I've been doing that quite a bit. Like when we drive places, kind of playing that as opposed to playing different kind of artists and whatnot.
Yeah, and you've actually been doing more than one a month, actually.
I mean, this is the first month. I'm already like finishing up number 4, so I can possibly bolster that if I hit 12 before the end of the year. But you're keeping it at 1 a month for the time being.
Yeah. And then another goal of mine is to track every dollar I spend, and I do mean that quite literally. Just historically, I'm the person who just kind of spends money, and then whatever my credit card balance is at the end of the month, I'm like, oh, this is news to me. And so I just figured I should be a little bit more responsible than that. And I found even in the 3 weeks I've been doing it, it's really made me aware of some unnecessary spending. And, well, okay. So this is me holding myself accountable. So I have 2 journals here. This is my personal finance one all by itself. This is actually from a Black woman-owned company, and I'll put the link in the bio. But why I really like this journal is I'll go to an empty month, is that the way the week is laid out, you can each day track across the page what exactly you're spending. So we'll look at January. And okay, so on the 4th, I paid my tithes. That's like a positive thing. That's fine. I also spent about $90 on stationery. So that's not great. But it was day 1. On the next day, it was grocery store. That's fine. A random Amazon purchase, $29.39. Those things add up. I think it looks like I bought lip balm and some pens.
You have plenty of pens at the house, right?
Anyway, the following week, gas, that's fine. Verizon bill. I bought some coffee pods for an espresso machine, which is also okay because I don't do Starbucks anymore. So that was really good. On the 15th, I got paid, and I bought some more stationery. I also bought boba and French fries. But treat yourself. I got paid, and I only spent $80.
No, yeah. No,
that's not bad, especially for me.
I was expecting a bigger purchase somewhere. Pretty sure it's
okay, week 3. Okay, I paid my insurance. That's good. More stationery.
How much stationery?
I don't know what's going on. But you see how I have it here, and I could, think about this next month. Like, you bought stationery 3 times last month. Calm down. So at least I know. Okay, and on Thursday, this is where I messed up. I spent $800 on a wallet. Yeah, that's not great, but it's one purchase out of that month. That's probably the most expensive thing I bought. That's actually not bad for me. But what I've been trying,
wallet? All right.
just like $800, just Like, that's not that bad.
And for those that aren't aware, so we have separate credit cards, so we don't track each other's spending to a certain extent. Of course, if it goes over a certain threshold, like maybe $801, you probably would have notified me. But we're comfortable.
If it was like 1,000 or something.
Yeah, no, I'm just joking. But yeah, anything over 1,000, we probably notify each other. Otherwise, do you?
Yeah. And so what I then do is, okay, that was Thursday the 21st, right? And so this is my personal journal or planner, and I track like my daily habits. I want to do my devotionals, I want to run, I want to make sure I slept a certain amount, take my supplements, all that.
That's all the stationery right there.
Yeah, that's all of the stationery.
Good Lord.
So if I go to that week and I look at Thursday to see what happened, right? I probably didn't have a great day. So I didn't work out, I didn't do my water intake, I did my prayer and devotional, I got my sleep, I took some of my supplements, and I charted my feeling as anxious. So honestly, I feel like I am an emotional spender. So I can look back and try and inform better habits. So even just like seeing this and admitting it, it's not like embarrassing, because I mean, people emotional shop. I do have a hard job, but anyway, my plan is to do this and every month look back and correlate, with my habit tracker. I'll actually show a blank page actually, where I fill it in, and you would just check down the box, right? And so I'm going to, call out my bigger purchases, things like buying all that stationery, what have you, the wallet, and just see like what I was feeling like, what I didn't do, and then try and correct those habits so I don't, emotionally spend. And yeah, so that's just 3 weeks, and I already found a pattern.
And I know that you're a very hard copy kind of person, because obviously there's apps that do all this, which are all free.
Yeah.
No, I'm not even
trying to say something.
I'm just curious, what makes you want to invest in the stationery and the hard copy things?
Because you can literally for me anyway, I like to just physically check things off. There's just something about that feeling. Mm-hmm. And then also I like to, in my recap and reflect, I like chart how I'm feeling. Whereas if I do a lot of things on my phone, if I tie so much stuff to my phone, it's so easy to just get distracted, because once I pick up the phone, that's it.
Alerts,
so, I go into that app and I act like I'm going to, track the right stuff, but then I'm going to see the notifications, like you said. And so for me, I think it's just a way to not be distracted, not be dependent on technology. And just the act of actually checking things off and flipping a page and, tracking my habits. I don't know, it just makes me feel better, and I don't get as distracted.
If that works for you, dear, I'm 100% behind it. Get as much stationery as you want.
So anyway, that's probably my biggest goal for the year, is to just really track what I'm spending and why, and then create better habits. So that's my big one.
Another big one for me is adding an additional stream of income. So obviously it's always good to have multiple streams of income. I think last year is a testament of that. Never can be too sure about anything. So definitely going to do a lot of more brainstorming and talking to different people to figure out what that exactly is going to be. But that's one of my top goals for this year.
Yeah. And that's my top goal for him too.
So you get more stationery.
Yeah. And then I think my last, again, I'm trying to be more practical this year. So with that, I want to start using sync funds more. And one way I can do that is thinking about Christmas. That's something that always happens each year. And I do like buying for kids. I'm not that huge on buying for adults, just because I'm just not. But we have, a good amount of nieces and nephews and godson. And so we love to just go all out for them. And so what I decided to do is in June, which is halfway mark, I'm going to be putting aside $200 to $300 each month. So come December, I have about $1,800. And then that way I'm not just spending $1,800 at once for the kids. It's something that I've accumulated along the way. And it's just like, oh, the money's there, I can just go ahead and spend it. So
So why do they call it a sync fund?
I don't really know. It's one of Dave Ramsey's terms. Okay. Or it might not be his original term, but he talks about them a lot. And I mean, it's Dave Ramsey, so if it's good enough for him, then
Let's roll with it.
So anyway, we hope that was helpful or even a little bit entertaining, but we just wanted to kind of walk you through some of the choices we made last year that paid off for us, and then encourage you to sit down with your significant other or yourself and just figure out and outline what your finance goals are for the year, because if you fail to plan,
you plan to fail. Almost dropped that.
So yeah, thanks again, guys. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to help with an additional source of income for us, tell your friends about our channel. We need to get our subscribers up. So yeah, until next time.